the Hollywood Unapologetic Podcast with Orlando Delbert, Filmmaking Essentials. And just a reminder, this is one of a series we're doing on the democratization of filmmaking that's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. And links to more info, books, merchandise, all that stuff, it's in the description.
So check that out.
Today, we're really plunging into, well, the world of immersive technology. It's playing such a huge role in filmmaking these days.
Right. And when we say immersive technology here, we're mostly talking about virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR.
Both as ways to actually make films and also how we experience them.
For this one, we looked at, well, quite a range of sources. Academic stuff on VR for rehabilitation.
Okay.
Timelines, tracing how VR even developed discussions with industry folks about virtual production.
Yeah, the VP stuff is huge now.
It is. And also analyses of AR, particularly in assistive technology. It's fascinating stuff.
So our mission today really is to unpack that whole journey, from the very first ideas.
The real early days.
Right up to the tools we have now. And explore, the impact it's having. Accessibility is a big one, especially for people with disabilities.
That's right.
And how it's spreading globally and what it all means for the new Hollywood generation. Okay, so let's get into it. Where did this all even start? What were the first sparks?
It's pretty cool to look back. You can see some early ideas, believe it or not, back in 1962. Moore Heilig's Sensorama.
Sensorama.
Okay. Yeah, picture this arcade cabinet thing. It had a vibrating seat.
Whoa.
And it could even produce smells, wind. One of the first experiences was a simulated motorcycle ride through Brooklyn.
In 1962, with smells. That sounds more like, I don't know, an old theme park ride or something.
It kind of does, but it shows the vision, right? Even then, trying to create this total sensory thing despite the tech limits.
Okay, that's pretty wild. What came next?
Well, a few years later, 1968, you get Ivan Sutherland. He created what people generally see as the first, practical VR machine, the Sword of Damocles.
Catching.
Yeah. But this was different. It had head tracking, it was connected to a computer.
Okay, now we're talking.
And it showed these simple wireframe rooms, a floating cube. It was basic, but you could move and the view would change. That was the leap.
Right, so interactivity, not just passive watching. And I heard this also kind of relates to AR, augmented reality.
Exactly, because the Sword of Damocles put those computer graphics over the real-world view. It's also seen as an early step for AR. Even though back then VR and AR weren't always clearly separated terms. But those early things, they set the stage, immersing you in digital or blending digital with real.
Okay, so let's jump forward a bit. Decades pass, tech gets better. What are some key moments that got us to where we are now with things like the Quest 3 or Vision Pro?
Right, so if you track the developments relevant to film and just experiencing stuff, 1997 is interesting. Georgia Tech and Emory University. They started using VR for PTSD therapy with veterans. Virtual Vietnam, it was called. Creating these controlled environments.
Wow. So really early therapeutic use, not just entertainment.
Yeah, showed the potential. Then fast forward to 2007, Google Street View launches. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Huge deal.
The immersive media was key in capturing that early imagery. It brought that kind of panoramic immersive view to everyone, even if it was passive.
Right. Suddenly you could be anywhere.
Then in 2010, they added stereoscopic 3D to Street View. A bit more depth.
Okay. Getting closer. And what about the actual headsets, the gear?
That's where things have really exploded recently. You got Meta Quest 3, the upcoming 3S, Apple's Vision Pro, Pico 4 Ultra.
Right, all these new players.
And they're leaps ahead. Higher resolution, way more processing power, proper mixed reality blending, virtual and real seamlessly.
That mixed reality seems key.
It is, and crucially, lower latency.
Yeah.
That delay. It has to be tiny, especially for virtual production. You need that real-time response.
Makes sense. And obviously, big tech is pouring money into this.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Meta, formerly Facebook, their Reality Labs division. Billions being invested in the metaverse, AR, VR.
Yeah, you can't ignore that level of investment.
It shows they really believe this is transformative for entertainment, filmmaking, everything.
Okay, so that sets the stage for the tech. Now let's shift focus a bit. One area that seems really impactful is how this tech helps people with disabilities.
Yes, this is where you see some incredible potential for good. A review, looking at research from 2010 to 2020, really highlights VR in rehabilitation.
How so?
For stroke patients, for instance, VR showed promise in reducing functional errors. But also, studies pointed to improvements in walking, balance, motor skills.
Wow.
And even things like more enthusiasm for getting involved in the community, better psychological well-being. The engagement factor seems really important.
That's amazing that a virtual space can help so much with physical and mental recovery.
It really is. And there's more. VR is being used to train wheelchair users. Skills training, reducing anxiety about navigating tricky real-world spots.
In a safe space first.
Exactly. And in mobile healthcare, people are looking at VR for pain relief, anxiety reduction. Some studies even hint it might reduce the need for things like morphine.
That's huge. So it's a tool for learning, therapy, just improving quality of life.
Precisely. The bigger picture goals are things like improving education access, helping manage daily life, boosting independence.
Self-confidence too, I imagine.
Absolutely. Self-esteem, minimizing the impact of a disability, helping with social integration in a safe virtual setting.
And that connects to that WHO idea, right? That disability isn't just physical, it's social too.
It does. And then think about AR, augmented reality. It could totally change assistive tech.
How?
Imagine AR glasses giving real-time visual or audio cues, helping with navigation, online shopping, identifying objects, empowering abilities right in the real world.
That's incredibly powerful. Okay, from accessibility to actually making films, virtual production, VP, that's the big buzzword, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's fundamentally changing things. VP is basically a set of tools and techniques that merges the physical and virtual world all through the filmmaking process.
From start to finish.
Pretty much, yeah. Development, pre-production, shooting, post. It breaks down that old linear way of doing things. It's more integrated, more iterative.
And it's not just for giant blockbusters anymore, right? It's getting more accessible.
That's a key point. Advances in real-time graphics engines, like Unreal Engine.
Which is free.
That's huge. It's democratizing these powerful tools. It lets filmmakers have this, what you see is what you get, workflow much earlier.
YSIWYG.
Exactly. And it puts huge value on pre-production. That's saying every hour of pre-pro saves 2 hours of production. It's super true in VP.
Right, because you can figure so much out virtually first. People call it parallel processing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It breaks down the walls between shooting live action and doing visual effects. They happen more at the same time.
Okay, so what are the big wins? Why are people adopting this?
Loads of benefits. Pre-visualization, or previs.
Yeah.
It's way better now. You can create really high-quality visuals early on, update them quickly. Everyone's on the same page visually.
Better communication, less guesswork.
Totally. It helps build sets more accurately, plan stunts and effects safely, integrate VFX smoothly, and editorial gets a boost too.
How does it help editing?
You get provisional images that look much closer to the final shot, way earlier. So you can actually edit during the main shoot, spot problems faster, get pickups quicker, keep continuity tight.
Streamlining everything. What about TechVis? I've heard that term.
TechVis, technical visualization. That's where you use the virtual tools to plan the technical side. Camera moves, placement, what lens to use. You map it all out virtually before you even get on set.
Like planning a heist movie?
Kind of. The first Avengers movie used it heavily for those complex scenes. Then you've got hybrid VP using green screens, but with live camera tracking for compositing right there. Like The Jungle Book, lots of TV shows use that.
Okay. And performance capture, that's part of VP too.
Oh, definitely. Capturing actors' performances to drive digital characters, getting those believable emotions, vital.
Right.
And you have virtual art departments, VADs, teams focused just on creating and managing all the real-time virtual assets, keeping things consistent, bridging creative and technical.
So specialized roles are emerging, and virtual scouting must save time and money.
Huge time and money saver. Explore sets, locations virtually, check sightlines, camera angles, plan logistics without flying everyone everywhere first.
Makes sense. Then the big one, LED walls.
Yeah, LED cinematography, shooting actors against huge LED screens, showing the virtual environment in real time.
So the background is actually there on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Final pixels in camera. Great for actor immersion, realistic lighting, though, the tech still has some limits, like dynamic range, but it's powerful.
And live compositing, remote collaboration. Seems like VP touches everything.
It really does. Remote work especially got a boost recently, and VP tools help make that secure and efficient.
It's a massive shift. So let's zoom out. Global impact and this new Hollywood generation. How is VP changing things worldwide?
The democratization part is key. Tools like Unreal being free. That lowers the barrier everywhere. It creates new economic opportunities. Virtual art departments, VP service companies, asset marketplaces.
So not just LA anymore.
Not at all. And even smaller productions, indie films, they can achieve amazing quality with good planning and visualization now. Things that used to need massive studio budgets.
Leveling the playing field a bit. And it must be changing roles within traditional departments, too.
Absolutely. Art directors, DPs, editors, they're all getting involved in VP workflows much earlier, more directly. Editors might be tweaking comps, not just cutting footage.
Or control earlier.
Yeah. And you need new specialists, like those virtual asset designers we mentioned.
Are the big studios noticing this globally?
Oh, yeah. Look at Netflix's NLA Virtual Production Initiative. They're working with filmmakers in Korea, Spain, Brazil, actively using Unreal Engine.
So it's spreading fast.
Definitely. The excitement around getting final environments in camera is huge everywhere.
Okay, this brings us to some big questions, doesn't it? Especially for that new Hollywood generation, the emerging filmmakers.
Yeah, what should they be thinking about? How can they really grab these tools, which are more accessible now, and tell stories differently, push boundaries?
And what do they need? What kind of training, resources, ways of collaborating?
Yeah.
How do we equip them for this VP world?
It's crucial. And also, how can we use this tech intentionally to make filmmaking more inclusive?
You mean in the stories told?
Both in the stories and for the creators themselves, making the industry more accessible, more equitable for everyone.
These are definitely the big questions for the future of film. It's clear we're seeing a huge shift. Immersive tech isn't just a gimmick. It's changing the fundamentals.
It really is. And it's amazing to track that journey, from those quirky 60s ideas.
The sensorama.
Right. To sophisticated VP pipelines today. And the impact on accessibility for people with disabilities.
That's incredibly important.
The global spread, and this new generation ready to use it all.
So as we wrap up, maybe a final thought, a question directed right at that new Hollywood generation listening.
Okay.
Given that these tools can fundamentally change how stories are told and how films are made, what unique perspectives, what stories that haven't been told, what groundbreaking experiences can you bring to the table that will actually shape the future of filmmaking?
That's the challenge. And the opportunity. It's a really exciting time, and we definitely encourage you explore the links in the description, dig deeper, and keep thinking about how this tech can democratize and transform film. You can find more insights on navigating the entertainment industry and achieving success in Orlando Delbert's work, including his book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical, and of course, the Hollywood Unapologetic platform. And always remember, you are the key to your own success. You are the new Hollywood generation.
Be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be great.
That's it. Be great. Good luck out there.
See you next time.